Kelowna's real estate market is turning into a true buyers versus sellers showdown right now. Sales have increased, listings are starting to slow down, but who really has the upper hand right now? Let's dive into the market stats for the end of August here in the Kelowna area, otherwise known as the Central Okanagan. So right here are the market stats for the overall market in the Central Okanagan, starting with sales with 361 sales. As I mentioned, sales have increased slightly. It's at 6%. At least it's something. Sales have been very slow over the last couple of years. So it's nice to see an actual increase in sales year over year, considering that August is typically our slowest month, usually between March or the end of March and throughout the summer. So it's typically our slowest, so it's nice to see, again, a little increase there. Dollar volume, again, obviously we had more sales, so dollar volume was increased as well. Maybe some of those higher price point homes and properties that have sold, we had a 14% increase there over last year at $293 million in total dollar volume. And active listings were sitting at 3,342 as of the end of August, still hitting near record highs for active listings. But as you'll see in the single family home category here in a moment, those are slowly coming down. So we'll probably see that continue as we go further into the fall and into the winter, where listings start to come off the market. And that's evident as of the end of August here, 858 new listings overall, and that's down 4%. So again, that trend will probably continue as we lead into the winter. The list to sale ratio right now for the overall market, we're sitting at 96%. So buyers and sellers are negotiating on average 4% off the list price. Days to sell for the overall market, we're sitting at 65 days to sell, slightly higher than last year. And it's probably higher than that due to the relisted properties. Let's say there's homes that sit on the market for 30 or 60 days. They get a price reduction and then they get relisted, so it shows as 0 days on market on all the websites out there. And then it actually sells. Say it sells another 30 days later. Well, the actual days to sell for that property would have been either around 90 days. So there is a little bit of a caveat there. Now, if you have any questions about the Kelowna real estate market or looking to buy or sell, simply shoot me a text message to the number on the screen. Now let's head into the sales. So I pulled the last 3 years of sales so far. And as it looks right now, let's start with 2023. So if we're comparing August to August in 2023, so the red and the green there. So we're essentially the same, around 361 sales in the month of August for both years. Now, the trend here in 2023 had a sharp dip because in August of 2023, we had those wildfires. So keep that in mind. We probably won't see the numbers or the sales dip off this hard this year because we've had a pretty slow fire season, although it's super smoky right now. But it's not close to the city. It's not affecting home sales per se. It's just very, very smoky right now in the valley. Now, one thing that will be interesting is to see how the sales compare to 2024. So the yellow line here. So we had a sharp increase here from September to October, which sales do typically pick up in the fall, and then they taper off, as you can see here. Once the end of October, November, December hit, it's just the slower season, and even into January, February. But it will be interesting to see what happens here in September. I sense that it's going to be a little bit busier than it was last year, but hopefully it'll be at least close to bring our numbers back up. But we'll have to wait another month to see if that happens. And if you want to see if that happens, you want to stay up to date on the market, simply hit that subscribe button to stay up to date on the Kelowna real estate market. So now let's get into the single family home category here. So the number of sales, just like the market overall, we have increased over almost 7% in the single family home category. We had 157 sales in the month of August, so a bit of an increase, not too much, but a bit of an increase since last year. Anything's good. Number of new listings we had 388. Again, that's new listings are dropping off as they typically do again leading into the fall and winter. Inventory, we're sitting at 1,497 single family homes overall. That's roughly, actually just under, to about 40-45% of the total market overall. So single family homes still do dominate the residential market here in the central Okanagan, and inventory overall from last year is down as well. Benchmark price still holding strong at just over $1 million, or over $1,050,000 right now. 3.2% increase in the benchmark price. Now, if you go to certain neighborhoods in Kelowna, this is a benchmark price. Not all homes are going to be $1 million. You can still find homes in Glen Rosa, Rutland, parts of Glenmore in the 600,000, 700,000, 800,000. So that still is the case there, specifically in those areas, and pockets of other areas in town as well, like Ellison as well. But the benchmark price overall, because we do have a lot of expensive properties here, your typical home might be closer to $1 million. But again, you can still find properties under that. There is a link down below in the description if you want to start your home search today. Now, the days to sell is sitting at 58. So on average, around 2 months to sell your single family home right now. Now, again, that number's a bit skewed on the low end because of all those relisted and repriced, repositioned homes. So my guess, without pulling all the stats from the single family home category, you're probably closer to 75 days on market, maybe close to 80 right now. If you do aspirationally price your home and then you do those price drops, you're probably closer to between 70 and 80 days to sell right now. Now, the list to sale ratio for single family homes are sitting at 96.7%. So buyers and sellers are negotiating around 4% off the list price on average, and that's the last list price. Now, the months of inventory, we're sitting at 9.5 months of inventory right now. So this is going to tell us whether we're in a seller's, a balanced, or a buyer's market. So at the end of August, if no other homes got listed, in theory, it would take around 9.5 months to sell off all of those homes. So again, if you look at my little graph here, that puts us heavy into a buyer's market. And this is telling us buyers have a lot of choice right now. There's a lot of homes on the market still, even though the inventory is slowly coming down and sales have crept up. There's still a ton of homes on the market right now, and buyers have a lot of choice. So for you sellers out there, you got to position your home correctly, meaning you got to price it correctly to what your comparables are and what the competition is right now. And presentation is huge right now, with cleanliness of the home, presentation of the home compared to others on the market as well. And just like the months of inventory, the absorption rate, so the rate at which homes are selling right now, is their absorption rate's at 10.5%. So if you listed your home at the beginning of August, you had about a 10.5% chance of selling your home. So it's about 1 in 10 homes in a given month right now, or in the month of August anyway, sold. So again, if you're a seller, keep that in mind, that it's going to take a little longer than maybe your neighbor sold a couple years ago. So hopefully you're not in a rush, or hopefully you're positioning your home correctly to get it sold, to get you moved on to your next phase in life. And again, if you have questions, simply shoot me a text message to the number on the screen. All right, so let's get into the single family home category pricing right now. As of the end of August, we're sitting at, like I said, we're just over $1 million, or $1,050,000 right now for the benchmark price. What we call your typical single family home here in the central Okanagan. That's again the end of August 2025. And comparing that to where we're sitting historically, if we drew a line straight across here, we're sitting at about December 2021 prices. So prices have come down about 11% since the peak. We peaked out at just under $1.2 million there, and that was in March of 2022. Now, if we go back 5 years, so really when everything started, it really started back in kind of May here of 2020, right when the pandemic started there. And then we had a run up of prices in those couple years there. And at August 2020, house prices were sitting at 744,000. Then they rose 58% here. Then we had that 11% pullback since then. And now we're sitting, $300,000 more than just 5 years ago. And just for fun, if we take it back 10 years, August 2015, house prices have doubled, literally doubled. There are 526,000 5 years ago in August, or 10 years ago in August, and now they're at $1,050,000. So if you've owned a home since then, you've done very, very well. And even since, in the last 5 years, you've done very well. Now, the big question is, who really has the upper hand right now, buyers or sellers? It's clear from the stats still that buyers have the upper hand in terms of months of inventory, the choice that buyers have right now with the number of properties that are still on the market. So if you're a buyer, lots of choice, take your time. If you're a seller, pricing and presentation is everything right now in this market. Now, after you hit the subscribe button, check out this video right here if you're wondering what the rest of the market looks like right now.